Before I spoke a word, you were singing over me. You have been so, so good to me. Yeah. Before I took a breath, you breathed life in me. Yeah. You have been so, so kind to me. Yeah. Worthy of our never ending, reckless love of God. Oh, He chases me down, feisty and found, leaves the 99. I couldn't earn it, and I don't deserve it. Still, you give yourself away. Worthy overwhelming, never ending, reckless love of God. When I was a fool, still your love fought for me. You've been so, so good to me. When I found no words, you paid it all for me. You've been so, so kind to me. And what yours never ending, reckless love of God. Oh, He chases me now, fights till I'm found, leaves the 99. Oh, I couldn't earn it, and I don't deserve it. Still, you give yourself away. And what overwhelming, never ending, reckless love of God. There's no mountain you would climb up, shadow you would light up, coming after me. No walls you would break down, lies you would tear down, coming after me. No mountain you would climb up, shadow you would light up, coming after me. No walls you would break down, lies you would tear down, coming after me. When hungry, you fed me. When thirsty, you gave me water. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. Yeah. You found me and gave me brand new life. You found me and turned my life around. You found me and made me brand new person. You gave me a new name. You turned the situations around. You forgave my sins. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Grand Rising, Grand Rising. He said the overwhelming, never ending, reckless love of God. Hey, how y'all doing today? Welcome to another experience of the Alkebulan Inspirational Sunday, where we are always talking about the rise of the African in you. Why? Because God and the ancestors need a vessel to work through to do better things on this planet. Okay, so the rise of the African in this world will not get better if you don't get better. And that's real. We have to make the change. Those of us are deeply melanated blessings within. It's going to be on us to change this planet. And so we call upon you to surrender to something higher, to something greater, to something stronger, so that we can experience the rise of the African, that spiritual awareness of who we are in God, more in ourselves and in the world, and we can make the changes that we need to make. The, the never ending, reckless love of God. This particular lesson is going to be focusing on that. You're going to understand in this particular lesson how much God truly loves you. Like, what? How much God truly loves you because of what he prepared you to have access to and what he prepared you to do. So today's lesson is about unlocking the powers within. Today's inspirational Sunday is on unlocking the powers within. Now, if your parents watched it, if you saw it, if some of you came to service, adult service last Sunday, I was actually teaching last Sunday, giving a lesson last Sunday in adult service. Powerful, powerful, powerful. I had a young man sitting in there I call him, my nickname for him is Pills. And I'm gonna have Pills up here one day, right? I'm gonna have Pills up here. Me and Pills is gonna be cool. You know, a couple of things are working with a Keebaland Arcadia at playerplayer.net. And I sat down and said, you know what? Pills is a gamer, so we're going to bring Pills in on this. But we were discussing this experience. I asked his mom, what did he get from this? And then he talked about the invisible power. I was like, what? We have invisible powers. There is, and then in the conversation of unlocking, the powers within, there was some things that was mentioned, some tools, right? But we're going to go more in detail so that you could understand it, you could get it. But there are always prerequisites. Let me see if I get this right, where I can put this at, so people know. There we go. We're going to do this. Always prerequisites to understanding who you are and whose you are. So for this lesson, and I'm going to put this here so that way, regardless what I talk about, y'all can see where it is. For this lesson, we need to have some prerequisites. To understanding, unlocking the power within, you have to have a prerequisite. There's certain things that you have to know in order to go down this road. Some people go down this road and there is no connection to God. There's no connection to the ancestors. There's no connection to anything. And so they become, they have good feelings. But this is not about good feelings. This is about unlocking the power within. First prerequisite that you got to get before we get into the processes, right? The first prerequisites of unlocking the power within. First prerequisite, you got to know that God is everything. That's basic. God is not just God is. God is everything. Well, is God is me? Yes. Is God a rock? Yes. Is God an ant? Yes. Is God a bird? Yes. Is God a cloud? Yes. God is not a entity that is separate from anything. He's an entity that is a part. Because you can say God, and people say Father God, or they go Mother of all creation. It's still the Most High. You're getting to the Most High. There is nothing above the experience of God. And so, Wala J, how is God everything? Because I have conversations and arguments with adults who be like, they don't even have a clue. They don't have a clue of how close we are as understanding our experience and our relationship. So God is everything. Now let's break this down. The prerequisite, break this down. The smallest the smallest particle that we understand is an atom. What? And that's the smallest particle that is in everything. You cannot find anything in the universe that does not have an atom connected to it. And then how they connect, you get those compounds, right? But everything has an atom in it. Wait, I want you to look at the atom. It has protons, neutrons, and electrons, energy sources spinning around it, right? You get that? This is prerequisite. God is everything. Because for you to tap on it, you got to understand the most simplest thing. God is everything. And so as those protons, neutrons, and electrons are flying around, energy flying around, the smallest particle you can't see. You need a super microscope. Where does that energy come from? There's nobody in the whole planet can tell us where that energy comes from. That energy that surrounds an atom is in everything and it's everywhere. Mm. And it thinks. Yes, it thinks. How does water know what temperature turns solid? How does water know when does it vaporize? It thinks. Everything thinks. Everything has a certain level of consciousness. Not free. It has a consciousness. It means it was created to produce or do something. God is everything. Now, we have separate consciousness, right? We're not a separate consciousness, but we have lower levels of consciousness that is God. God is a grand, all being, creative intelligence, cosmic energy, and creative intelligence. God is everything. Now, if you want to argue with me on that, mama and daddy, yeah, you hit me up and call me. I got my number. My number's public. And we can go to the African Speaks and speak on that one, right? I had a friend who was arguing me down that her guard had to be a man. I said, if he's a man, I mean he has a hand, and if he has a hand in between his fingers, there's space that he doesn't exist in. I said, look at your hand. God is not a man. God is not a woman. God is not a being that it could lie. Woo. Come on. God is everything. That's why everything God created is good. Certain things on this earth, as in man, has the ability of free will. Every other creature, they don't have free will. They have the will of or the mindset in which God gave them, right? So you get an elephant. An elephant one day says, I don't want to be an elephant. I want to grow a long neck and be a giraffe. Can't happen, right? We're the only species that make a decision, life's social dynamic decisions the way we do. No other creature does the way we do and destroys what we do. But that's the first prerequisite to access, to unlock the power within. You have to know that God is everything. He's in the smallest particle of the world. Now, once you know that, you understand that you're taking a journey to know who you are. Life is about taking the journey to understand you, know thyself. Ancient African civilizations in the temples of Luxor, in Egypt, all the big mystery systems. You had this printed on the top of the temples. Know thyself. Man, know thyself. Know who you are. So now you got to understand God is everything is prerequisite. Two, life is about knowing who you are, not who everybody else is, but who you are in relationship. Mm, in relationship to God, which is everything. Who you are in relationship to that creator. Know who you are. So what this means is as we go to unlock the power within, unlocking the power within is understanding that this is about our relationship to God, not your relationship to yourself. People become great and they become great within themselves, which is kind of stuff. So then now we have to sit down and say, okay, that means I have to see myself clear. We got to put some glasses on you. That's why there's certain prerequisites. If you're having difficulty or struggles, or you're not having difficulty or struggles, you're having a great life experience. And as you have that great life experience, connect all the dots. See yourself clear on who and whose you are and what is it. And then slowly it'll be unlocked into what you're here to do. So see yourself clearly. Now, we've been through this. We've been through this in terms of taking the time to see ourselves clear, right? If you don't remember, let me remind you the questions that we had to ask ourselves previously in days before. And if this is your first time looking at Alkebulan Inspirational Sunday, you can find a bunch of the lessons on the African Speaks YouTube page or on the website where you get the links. Well, they'll show you where it is, so you can go there. I definitely need to update and touch up the website. We get to that. Reverend Ajay has been doing tons of work. Sorry to get sidetracked, but 5 questions. Who am I? Where am I from? Why am I here? What can I do? And where am I going? Now, when we start looking into ourselves more clearly, along with the prerequisites with understanding that God is everything and God is in everything, that question is a lot, who I am is a lot easier to answer. Where am I from is a lot easier to answer. Why am I here is the journey. What can I do is the journey. Where am I going? That's the journey. And everybody answers, well, where am I from? Everybody's from the source. Everybody's from God. Who am I? I'm a manifestation of divine thought. I'm a child of God. I'm an extension of what God imagined. Mm, that thought process. I am a product of cosmic energy and creative intelligence. Mm, yes. Why am I here? To experience the greatest me in the life situation I live in. I'm going to experience who I am in a life situation that I live in. What can I do? And where am I going? Now, what can I do? We're gonna stop there because that's what this is about. Not just what you can do, but yeah, we're gonna talk about that because unlocking the power within gets you to what can I do and where am I going. Unlocking the power within, right down there, gets you to what can I do and where am I going. So when you're asking those questions, what can I do? That's when you're gonna take the time to start looking at your what, how God made you. What is your DNA? What is in your DNA? What is in the method of how God put you together? Because if everything is God and God put me together, there are special things that He put in me to show me what I can do, and that will lead me to where I'm going. Mm. And that's why we always say, and we never take it away, you are the steam. You are God's steam. You are God's science, His technology, His engineering, His artwork, and His mathematics. You are definitely, without a shadow of a doubt, let me get this so you can see it, God's steam. His science, His technology, His engineering, His art, work, and His mathematics. Hmm. So if that's the case, then there's something inside you that is so powerful and so beautiful. Why? Because God created me. God created me, so there's got to be something that helps me understand my relationship to God. What is this body I have? And so trying to see yourself more clearly, you take a look at your functionality. You're like, what? Again, it's the prerequisites. We getting into this right there. We're getting into this. We go higher so you can see it. Unlocking the power within. So now you got to take a look at your makeup of what God gave you and what God put in you for the show you what is it that you can do And where you gonna go with it? What is it that you can do? Look at the makeup of how God created you. First thing we're gonna look at, and this is gonna be the major lesson. The major lesson in this, where we're gonna work on the rise of the African, is understanding how you're made up. And one of the first tools that God gave you to help you understand what you can do, mm, was breathing life into you. Yeah. When you're born, while you're in your mother's womb, you have a tube connected to you where she's breathing. You're getting that from her. You're developing in her womb, right? When they cut the umbilical cord and they smack you on the bottom, clear your lungs out, and you cry. Ah, ah. You cry out. Your lungs begin to function 100% on their own with the breath of life. The breath of life is already in you, but when they smack you in the bottom, they get you to breathe alone without being connected to your mom via the umbilical cord. And so the breath of life is not necessarily what gives you life, but is a tool for you to experience life. It is a tool for you to experience life. It is your inhale and your exhale. And you're like, what you mean experience life? Again, we're trying to figure out what you can do, what you're made of. Now, all the things that you go through in life is an experience and it vibrates. And so when you're sitting down and you're working on your inhale and exhale, what? This is as simple as all outdoors. Everybody does this, but very few people understand it. It's a tool to unlock power, not just to gaining peace, to gain tranquility, but to experience something powerful. You're like, what? Really, AJ? Yeah, because anytime you working out, you lifting weights, you running, it's all about the breath. How your body's going to move, how your body's going to function is all about the breath. How your body's going to heal is all about the breath. When they give you oxygen, why? Because your organs need a certain amount of oxygen so that they can function well. Most of the time, we only function under the state of survival. We never go past the point of survival. And so those frequencies are very low. That's low. That's not, you can access some power and energy, but you can't access that superpower, right? Some of us can. Depends. But what breathing does, it regulates your frequency. And we talk about that. We talk about the regulation of frequency, unlocking the power within is the topic. Now we talk about the tool that God gave, one of the first tools that God gave. The, well, one of the first tools. You can get to the point where he says, I knew you before I formed you in the womb. I blessed you at birth. I consecrated you. That's a blessing. He gave you your instructions on what you're supposed to do, be, complete, and achieve, and he blessed your journey and sent you on. You were spirit, and in that spirit form, you're powerful. In that spirit form, you have gifts and abilities. Now, in the physical form, you still have physical, you have gifts and abilities. But when you connect them to your spiritual self and not just your physical being, exponential, exponential. And so in that space, we say the lower. What we're gonna do, we're not gonna deal with chakras yet. We're gonna just about to talk about the chakras in a few minutes. But we want to show you now the understanding of frequency. Frequency, vibration, God energy. Everything has a vibration. Everything has a frequency. Every emotion has a frequency. Every organ has a frequency. Flowers have frequencies. Water frequency. You hit something by frequency. There are frequencies of sounds that only animals can hear that humans can't. Frequency. Pitches. Everything vibrates. And so when you look at the chart of consciousness, levels of when you feel shame, guilt, apathy, grief, fear, it's lower frequencies. Middle frequencies are desires or anger, pride, courage. Then you're neutral. Somewhat higher frequencies is willingness. So giving, acceptance. You know who you are, whose you are, and what you're doing. Reasoning, your wisdom, your love, your joy, peace. Then you got enlightenment. And enlightenment, you understand that you're connected to all, because God is everything. You realize inside enlightenment, you're connected to all things. Your peace comes because you know that God is a part of all experiences, and He is. It brings you peace knowing that there's a God in every situation. You just got to figure out what you're supposed to do in that situation. There's some evil scenarios, yes. Can you find God in evil scenarios? He's there. Does it make sense? It don't. But is He there? It's an experience. And that's where people struggle with. How can I go through bad things yet God be real? God is real because you're real. Period. You cannot control the movement of not one atom. You can only control your level of consciousness. So some individuals don't have a higher level of consciousness. They have the lower level, that anger, it's a low level of consciousness. So they function from anger, fear. And so people respond from fear. People who don't engage, or people who go from grief. When you're grieving, you're supposed to take time to grieve to heal. Why? Because you got to get up from that. So there's certain levels of consciousness that people function at that are not healthy. And they take that level of consciousness that is not healthy and share it with others. That's a problem. However, you're here to experience a higher sense of self, and breathing actually does that. They sat down and said they're adding breathing to an academic environment because it helps kids relax, calm them down so that they can learn better. What? Breathing. They are instituting breathing in academic environments to help children who are erratic and crazy, can't sit still, to learn, because it actually helps them improve who and whose they are, settles them down so that you can focus. Now, of course, I choose self-determination and liberation over education. And if you got self-determination, liberation first, if you got God first, then you can add education in there. Educate yourself under God is always the experience of a child and a parent. Educate your children unto God, not unto you, and educate your children unto who and who they're called to be. You do that first, then you can begin to educate them on the ways of the world. Because first way of the world is God is all things. You are relationship and connected to God. God has you here to experience and do something great. And so in that tool that He gave you, His breath, has the possibility to transform you into the most powerful you. Huh? And we're gonna break that down in a few seconds. So it's that physical strength, mm, mental strength, and spiritual strength. You get to that point where you're taking your time to glow from within so it comes out. To glow from within so it comes out. Unlocking the power within. Now we have our prerequisites, right? So y'all get ready. We about to break this down. We have our prerequisites. God is in all things. The energy that is in the atom is in everywhere. Everything it is an experience of God. You are the experience of God. You are a child of God. You're here to answer these questions. Who am I? Where am I from? Where am I going? What can I do? Why am I here? We're answering these questions now. Now, to get to those questions, to answer them, God said, I'm going to make you your most powerful self so that you can deal with those things. Let's get it. Everything that breathes should praise God. So it doesn't matter what you do. If you're breathing, you should be praising. Now, let's move on to how your breath is a tool. Now, y'all have seen this, right? We're going to do it like here. You see this. What is it that they're doing? You see this. So now understand. Now we're going to help understand where this is. What they're doing here is getting individuals to channel their energy. Channel their energy so that they can experience. Sometimes, now again, when we talk about frequency, everything vibrates at a particular flow. When you're not vibrating, you are not. When you're not vibrating at the right frequency, you're not your greatest self. So breathing is a technique to increase the frequency or align the frequencies that you are so that they all vibrate right. Now, if you see the last three, right? You see the red, the orange, the yellow. Those are what is called the lower chakras. Your lower chakras. Now, all your energy, 95% of your energy, of that power you are in your lower chakras. They're at the base. Those base chakras hold the most power right now, but they're not supposed to. No. Because we are in the world in which we live in, we are focused on survival, food, clothes, and shelter, basic needs. We're fighting just to have a life. Now, as a child, you shouldn't be experiencing these things. However, that doesn't, and so this is why they say, a child is more close to God. You are more in line. Your energy is more aligned in the world, in your body. So you get to be powerful. This is why kids are like, yeah, they tackle the world. You tackle the world. You love it. You go explore. You think. You ask questions. Yeah. You're not in that survival mode. You're not in it because you get to eat. You got food, clothes, and shelter. Mommy takes care of you. Daddy takes care of you. Community, family takes care of you. Yeah. Unless you go through something. Unless there's something in your DNA that you brought back from that's locked in there from your ancestors that makes you off kilter. Unless you didn't get enough love or whatever it is. Whatever, not enough sunshine, you wasn't touched. A lot of times kids automatically function from a high super level. Now the question is, how do you maintain that as you get older? Breathing is one way. Now for adults, the last three chakras hold 95%. I'll say kids too, 95%. But it's easier for you to move that 95% up the channel, right? So you got the base one is grounding, right? Then you have, that's the root chakra. Then you have sacral chakra, right? That's your feeling, right? Then you have the solar plex chakra. That's the doing. Then you up here at the heart chakra. But other than that, you have these three chakras. See right where the breastplate is, the stomach is, and the root is. 95%. And you're supposed to be breathing allows you to move that 95% up to your heart chakra where you can love in power. You can speak. And then when you get from the heart amplifies the energy. So the heart's going to take whatever's in your 95% in your belly. Heart is going to amplify it, and then it's going to go to your higher senses. This is where your power becomes stronger. You begin to speak. Throat chakra. See the blue? Your throat chakra. And we always talk about speaking life. You can say something and something happens when all of your chakras are aligned. I had a friend call me the other day. She said, "Hey, how was I able to summon my husband?" She had a dream that she was sitting on a throne. She was talking to the deity Shango, and she spoke in authority. She spoke in authority and said, "Bring me my husband." So she had broken up with her fiance and she wanted him back. Without her calling, she's in a dream state now. She's sleeping and she's speaking to a deity, an African deity. Thunder and lightning, it was storming a couple of days ago. She was in the middle of that power and she said, "Bring him to me." When she wakes up, her doorbell is ringing. Guess who it was? Yeah, he came home. Ain't that something? I said, hopefully you got what you wanted because God will fulfill the desires of your heart. So be careful how you speak life, be careful what you say. This is why when you say I am, and that's the most powerful chakra, that's the lowest chakra, that's the root. I am is so strong because it begins. I am is the concept of God. I am powerful. I am smart. I am intelligent. I am creative. That is where you engage God. And they say, do not speak the Lord's name in vain. So if you say I am and you say something negative behind it, that is not the creator. I am, nope. I would rather say I feel sad rather than saying I am sad or I am angry. Don't say those things. I feel. Know the difference between feelings and being. Hmm. Know the difference between the two. You can feel a certain way, but that don't mean that's who you are. That's not how you feel. In conversations when you're talking to individuals about, well, how you feel. I don't believe they did. No, I don't want to say what they did to you. How do you feel? I don't want to hear what you think. How do you feel? I feel. And then you go from that point. And so here you have I am, which is the base, 95%. That's why it's so strong. It's the beginning of who you are. And if you do it right and that I am is strong enough, it goes up. It channels up. Now, one of the things, and then you have I speak life, I see when you're talking about the invisible power. I can see myself doing great things. I can see myself being great. I can see others being great. I see God in all things. I see. That's when the energy, that 95% energy is flowing, going like this. And I'm going to break that down for you. And then you hit to your point where I know, and we're going to go through there. But I want you to understand that the power of who you are lies in the bottom base. Who knows about this? Everybody. This is where they don't teach you what you need to teach you. Now, have you ever been to the doctor and you saw the symbol in blue? You see the symbol in blue and look at the graph or the picture next to you. The symbol in blue and the picture next to you. You really want to know what you're here for. Untapping the power, the invisible power within, untapping into your power, unlocking it. The medical symbol is a sign that shows you what you're supposed to be doing to show good health. You're supposed to be moving your energy that is in your body to your highest form so that you can experience the most powerful you. That's what this journey is about. How can I become more powerful? Unlocking, deep breathing. Now we're going to get into that. And if you see it as you breathe, you come up, you see it. And then, so when you see snakes in the blue, snakes is the energy, is how they equate the energy going up from the bottom of where you are all the way to the top. And sometimes I can't do it back. I can't do it backwards. From the top down, up, down. Right? That's the energy flow. That's what when they say you're trying to get healthy, you're trying to get stronger, you're trying to get better. That's what it is. It's breathing deep where the energy moves. A lot of time you breathe, the energy is not moving. The energy is not moving. It stays. And sometimes if your frequency is off, where you don't vibrate at the right frequency, you get sick. Being sick is usually a spiritual experience first. When people have high immune systems, man, that frequency is a gorilla. Why? Because everything vibrates at the way it's supposed to vibrate. So when illness gets it, the body defeats it. Those individuals with lupus. Lupus is a debilitating disorder that you have an overactive immune system. An overactive immune system. And so far, everybody that I've met that had lupus are deeply spiritual individuals. Ain't that something? Epiphany. Meaning that you got a flow of energy, you got a flow of connected, you got a gateway that's open where your body defends itself at a high level. Right? And so sometimes you can master that and calm it down. They gave you medication to calm down your lupus. There are diets that you can to help regulate lupus. But the individuals that I know personally, they are some seriously powerful individuals. And it is that flow of chi or energy within you, the breath of life, that force that moves it up and down. And you see how you have wings in the medical thing and the wings over here in the other diagram. Well, it's because that's when you get to your understanding in God. You know who and whose you are when I know who I am. Michael Jackson, they used to ask him, said, "Hey, do you love music?" He said, "I am music." He knew it. And there was nothing that was going to come in his way that would stop him from expressing what he knew about himself. Absolutely clear. I know who and whose I am and what I'm here to do, and I'm here to make music. Now, does the music have a purpose? It's different. Some people make music to have purposes, and some people make music just to get rich. So that doesn't make you a musician. No, it doesn't. Now, what you use the music for is your purpose, right? Or the finances you get from making it. Now, what we want to get into is how to unlock the power within, how to get to that point where your talents and your skills are just blowing up. And so there's another diagram, and you see the three. So there's three of them, right? To show you, we already said we know what the chakras are, right? We know that the different levels, the seven main ones. It's actually more than seven, but there's seven main ones. You have meridian systems all through your body which channel your energy. But we're going to deal with the movement of your chi. Now, it's the energy in, and the 95% of this is in your belly. 95% is in your belly, and we got to get that 95% up to your crown chakra, and we're gonna. And this is how it explains it. So, in breathing and in your body what God did for you. This is the love that God had for you. He says, I'm gonna create your body as a system to manifest divine energy and creativity. And the more you can tap into this, the greater you will become. I'm gonna create you in a marvelous way that when you do the simplest thing in life, inhale and exhale, you will have the opportunity and the ability to interact with the power within you, the power of sight and vision, the power of strength, the power of healing, the power of speaking to something and manifesting something as though even though it's not speaking it as it is and watching it manifest. This is the power of manifestation. It all lies in how you use your breath. And if you see that cycle, it goes up and it goes down, it goes up and it goes down, it goes up and it goes down. You see that roundabout, right? And then you see the light coming, boom, where you get information and when you get those downloads. That is gonna the light on the head is the download. So what happens? The 95% of your energy that is sitting in your belly or in your core. When you inhale, everybody inhale. Now, when they tell you to breathe, exhale, a lot of times the energy don't move. You just stay healthy. The more you breathe, the deeper you breathe, the more relaxed, the more energy that flows through your body. Now, what you're trying to do is get that chi to move. As kids, if you do this as children, you do this at this stage of your life, not only will you be this, but you will manifest this. You will be the most physical person, powerful person that you could possibly be, on top of the most spiritual, insightful in person that you could ever think of. It's you. Why? Because God created you that way. He created you that way. He created you as a system to move divine energy and access spirituality, spiritual cosmic energy, so that you can be as great as you want. There is nothing stopping you but you allowing yourself to access something better. That's why they say it's the effort. If you believe it, you can achieve it. So go after it. So you inhale, and when you inhale, your chest goes up, your stomach goes out, right? Breathe in your chest, your stomach. Anytime you're holding it, like if you deep breath, hold it, and then pull your stomach in. Hold your breath. I'm gonna do it again. I'm gonna inhale, and I'm gonna pull my stomach in, and I'm gonna hold it as long as you can. I'm still holding it. I hadn't exhaled. Now, at times, I'm still inhale. I hadn't exhaled yet. And when you have to exhale, don't exhale. Inhale again, and I got my stomach pushed to the back, so my stomach is sunken in. And I'm gonna do it again. And I still have not exhaled yet. Y'all can see I practice this, and this is practice. And my body is absorbing the oxygen that I intake, but my lower half of my body is squeezing. And I got my stomach pushed in. See the exhale? Now I can hold it longer than that. Now, what happens when you inhale and you suck your stomach in? Let me see if I can do it right here. And you squeeze at the bottom, it's like the toothpaste. You ever squeeze the bottom of a tooth? I always squeeze the bottom of the toothpaste. Why? Because it makes what's at the bottom, it makes it go up. So when you squeeze the bottom of the toothpaste, you can make it shoot out. Now, when you're doing that particular breathing technique and you're inhaling and you're squeezing in and you're holding it, that is pushing the 95% of your energy up, up, up. And the more you do it, the more powerful you become. Let's get this. The more you do it, the more powerful you become. You begin to unlock your potential. Why? Because now all of your organs are vibrating at a high frequency. The energy that keeps you moving. Oh, when kids they say you got so much energy, it's because wow. Let's switch. You're in the I do, right? So there's levels to this thing. I think I had a better one charted here. Let me see if I can so that you can see it. And so you got the I do, and I'm trying to find the other chart where you can see it. And in that space, you say you breathing. Your I am. Your I am. The minute that you start talking about your I am, which is your lowest form, oh man, you active. I am I am the African. I am the African that can take over the slave ship and row us back to Africa. I am. And I began to say that on a regular basis, and God began to give me everything I needed to manifest that I am. I feel love for black people. I feel love for the liberation of my people, the movement of my people, the development of my people. I feel everything I can. I feel God in me. I feel it. I feel the vibrations of God all around me. In everything, I feel it. I feel your emotions. I feel your joy. I feel it. The same way I could feel the presence and power of God in my ancestors. I feel it. That motion is there. We have a lot of feelings. And if black men are not as powerful as they could be when they disconnected from their feelings. Sorry. When we can't feel it, they knew that. We are only functioning from the I am, and that's the lowest form of chakra, which is based off of reproduction, and that's why all we do is what we do because we don't allow ourselves to get past the second chakra, feeling. And until a black man can sit down and say, I feel, and talk about it and express his emotions real. Young brothers, this is for y'all. Young sisters, understand the young brothers. I feel. I do. Now that doesn't mean that there's no energy in these. There's energy, but what level of the energy? So now you get I do. What do you do because of your I am? If I am a child, you say I am a child of God, right? So I feel like I'm a child of God. That's a whole different type of behavior. That's a whole different type of energy when I feel. I am a child of God. I feel like a child of God. And I'm breathing the 95% of the energy to access the chakra that deals with my feelings. Well, you don't overfeel. You don't want to have overdo it. You don't want to overdo it. You just want to balance in it. And then you breathe and you keep breathing and you enter into I do. I do what? I do exactly what I'm called to do by God. And at this particular time, as God wants you to be a child, I will do the things that I need to be so that I can be a child of God. I do. We all have instructions. That's why kids move. They got to be doing something. The 95% of their energy is in I feel. I feel. I mean, I am. I feel. I do. Lower. Now you got those kids who I love, and that's why it's easier for a child to maintain or sustain or even be given superpowers, the invisible powers, man. They said, and a child will lead them. Why? Because you have access to the power. Don't wait till you're an adult to be powerful. No, be powerful right now. I love, man. You walk in a room full of children, and all they know how to do is just say, "Hey, IJ," and give you hugs. Man, that changes your day. That's the love of God right there. You exist as a child with the love of God. The minute that you change the way you love and you focus on the way the world is, man, that chakra right here loses strength. It loses strength. And for me, my daughter, I love. This is a story. When I knew her power of I love was so strong when I said, "Hey, I need you to touch me because I need an idea to do A, B, C, D, F, G." And she said, "Well, I love my daddy." I said, "I know you do. That's why I want you to touch my head. Touch my head to open up my I see. I need to see how to accomplish something." And Ayan, and she was like 3 years old. She walks up to me and she touches my head. Her hands were warm. And the minute that she did it, I was able to see. I knew exactly how to complete the project I was on, and I looked at her and I kissed her. Why? Because kids have power that they don't understand. You have power that you don't understand, but that's okay. Continue freely being you. It's the traumas and the issues of the world that keep you from your power. But breathing right will get you back. That's why they're putting breathing into the classroom, into the academic areas. This is why it's becoming important that children practice how to breathe. That's deeply important. Why? Because you're powerful in this state. And if you can stay in this state as you get older, man, when you get older, you're walking in pure wisdom. Again, we are understanding, we're unlocking that power within just by learning how to breathe. And then you get into I speak. Kids don't be quiet. Parents gotta say, be quiet. Why? Because you're always speaking, and sometimes, yeah, you can talk crazy, but then sometimes your imagination is so beautiful that you can imagine something and manifest it. A child with a vivid imagination who can tell a story is a child that is already tapping into their power. Don't lose it. That means your frequency, your chakras are aligned right. I see. That is the level of your imagination. You have reality here, but 90 your true power is in your imagination, your ability to think. That's where it is. And then after a while, when you do that, there'll be certain things about you that you can no one tell you that you know. That's when you get here. The breathing technique of inhaling, holding your breath, and squeezing your stomach in pushes it here. If you do this to the young, if you teach younger kids to do it, but you do this now, teenagers, before you hit that world, master yourself because the world is going to test you. Young adults, get into understanding who God created you to be because the world is testing you. Parents, you already know about being tested. You want to speak in authority, tap into the power that's you. You're going to be able to get these downloads. Now, when you begin to get downloads, you got to be able to do what they say do. And I've been tapped in for a minute. I didn't understand the art of breathing though. But when I was a kid and I'm working out, you had to breathe. Running track, you got to breathe. Stan never taught us about this. Still, Stan One Love, New York track team, the Rockaway Blazers. We were some fast kids. Fast kids, smart kids, insightful. People would say that he has when you have a child that has an old spirit or an old mind, it is because their chakras are tapped. They're tapping in, they're vibrating at a high frequency. Use the breath to become great. It unlocks your imagination, it unlocks your creativity, it unlocks your vision to be able to see. It locks your depth of thought. You'll be able to think on a different level. You'll be able to analyze on a different level. You'll be able to hear things that other people can't hear. Music, tones. People come out open, can play musical instruments. It'll increase your physical attributes. Some people who play football, trust me, when they tap in, they started doing ballet and yoga to get better and faster and stronger. What it is. You got to know that God created you as a system to manifest power. Breathing is a technique in how you breathe. And there's one exercise where you breathe, you sit, hold the nostril, inhale one nostril, hold, exhale out the other. Then you inhale, hold, upholding. My Tai Chi is being pushed up. My energy is being pushed up. It's a technique. Breathing is a technique to increase your power. People say, how do you have so much energy, Ajay? How do you always able to keep up with these kids generation after generation? The desire and the energy to learn technology. I'm open. I'm breathing. I'm flowing with life. I'm flowing with life. Breathing allows you to flow with life. And in that journey, God will give you your purpose. God will show you your talents. God will show you everything. Now, here's a thing before we check out. It's one thing to understand the power of your breath. It gives you great health. It stimulates your mind, your body, your spirit. It gives you great health, great spiritual awareness, gives you a grounding. It helps you connect to the ancestors. It brings physical strength. It gives everything you need. Now, knowing that God created you like that, right? His reckless love. He created you with the ability to extract divine energy around you and within you and connect it. He created you that way. Now, what I want you to think about is if God created you just by simply breathing to be powerful, to help change your thoughts and everything else, imagine what happens when you realize how much is amplified just by having melanin in your system. That's a whole different conversation. That's a whole different uh, uh, inspirational affirmation to show you how you are a child of God and you are created to be able to manifest God energy to be great, to be great. Now, before we go, I want to share something. Let me see if I could do this now. There's a guy that's going on, and I think I closed it. But to be able to get to that point where you are truly, truly expressions of the creator, and you're out there in the world and you're doing certain things, right? You're gonna know, you're gonna realize that you're becoming. What am I becoming? You're becoming your greatest self, your best self, most powerful self. It's a part of who you are. So when you start just in the process of just doing simple things by breathing. Let me see. I'm almost there, guys. Here we go. Now, there's one guy that I want y'all to take a look at, and I always show in examples. At this particular time, my most favorite person, one of my most favorite people, is this brother right here, Noah Lyles. He runs track. Noah Lyles runs track. He is considered the fastest, one of the fastest men in the world, if not United States, just to not, he's the fastest in the United States, but he's the fastest in the world at the 220 right now. They just said he broke, before I came on live, they said he broke one of Hussein Bolt's records. He's going crazy. He out there blasting. I need to go take a look at that. But understand what happens. He's saying, and he says, I have certain levels of energy that I have not even become aware of yet. When I'm running, he said he does the Dragon Ball Z, right? He feels that Dragon Ball Z spirit, that energy. When Gohan or Goku powers up, he moves his chi from his body, from the bottom to the top, while he's absorbing radiant energy from the melanin, and the melanin vibrates that frequency all over you. That energy where you tap into your most powerful self. Y'all look up Noah Lyles and see what he's done. And look at, he has his podcast where he's trying to build his podcast where he talks about his experience. Now, I'm not going to say he's deeply spiritual because right now on his journey, he's the fastest man on the planet. And that's different. And y'all know I talked about Hussein Bolt when Hussein Bolt was running it. It's who you say you are. Breathe it in, become it, embrace it. Do not be afraid of how great you can be because you never know where it's going to take you. But understand one thing, that God made you. God made you imperfectly perfect to be the greatest you. And the easiest way to get there, the most simplest way to get there, so that you can experience the power within, is to breathe. Hmm, ain't that something? All you have to do is inhale, hold your stomach in, push the chi up. It does it by itself. Exhale. How does it do it by itself, Ajay? And just to show you, to be more, and y'all can look all. You don't have to never take my word for anything I do. Look it up. Anytime you inhale, there's a sutures on your top of your brain, right? When you inhale, the bottom of your spine tilts in, right? It goes like this. Every time you inhale, it goes like your body goes like this, right? And that causes a wave like this in your body. It goes inhale, exhale. So it causes a wave. And so when you inhale, there are sutures that are on top of your brain that open up. When they open up, cerebral spinal fluid goes down to your spine, to the base of your spine, and it goes back up. It takes 12 hours for that liquid that's in your body, that's in your brain. God made you, man. He's perfectly, man, he's perfect with what he did. And so you inhale, it opens, and exhale, it closes. Inhale, it opens, exhale, and that happens all day. And so that fluid goes down. It takes 12 hours for the cerebral spinal fluid to get down to your base, right? Clean. And then it takes 12 hours for it to go back up. So as it comes up, and so your body, your brain cleanses itself, refreshes itself every 12 hours, twice a day. Now you want to get that energy to go up with you forcing it up. You're forcing that energy to come back up. Look this up. This is all proven. Don't take my word for it. Look it up. I did. That's how Ajay got become the African. I want you to become African too. Right? So I'm studying my African history. I'm studying everything about being black, being African, being the first people that God created, and why were we so special? Get that. It's in you. Now, does that mean people who are non-African can't do? No, everybody can breathe. That's why you drop in that melanin and you realize that in that strength, everything is amplified. So does anybody outside of being African descent have spiritual powers? Yes. We all can have the ability, but no, we don't all have the same awareness. We allow certain accesses and certain vibrations that they can't get to. And that's an issue. That's why almost everything that we do, if we do it the same, we dominate. And it's not the fact that it's fear or not. There's a such thing as a dominant and recessive trait, a stronger trait and a weaker trait. God likes variety. And so we have a variety of people that come from one dominant gene. Ain't that something? The mitochondrial Eve gene. And we spoke about that. But this technique, and if you look at the colors on the fingers, it shows you how to which chakra, which finger uh does better. Now you can sit down and breathe and you can do this. Stimulating all your organs right here. God is magnificent, man. And you being an expression of God is magnificent. Don't ever look at yourself as less. Don't ever look at yourself as down. There's a power and ability in you that can no one touch. They can get your mind not to know about it. That's what they do. But what happens if you know who you are, what you're capable of, and put the effort to using your greatest self? Some people on the planet are doing it. Me, I know that I'm called to teach you how to do it. That's my calling. That's why people ask me, "Oh, how do you get this and how did you do that? How did you do this?" Because I gave in to my call to bring black youth and black people to the awareness of their greatest selves. So anything that is needed for me to do that, God supplies. And then if he doesn't, I speak it and it manifests. Mm. Ain't that so? So, from this point on, I'm gonna ask you to be careful and don't take your breathing for granted. Never. Take your time, breathe deep, inhale, exhale with a purpose.